Evvie here is a sweetheart once she gets to know you, if you have the right treats. Gus is back there. So we saw some signs of improvement. This is their roadmap to success. We saw some signs of improvement. Anytime she comes around, he just leaves the area. And there are a couple times where he was actually able to stay in the area while she passed by. So those are good signs. We also just got done feeding, and he ate first. She was not allowed to be in the kitchen. And then when it was her turn to eat, he had already left. She walked over a bowl, sniffed it, and walked away. We picked up the bowl and dumped it. Now, some people think that's being mean, but having dominion over food can really elevate us as authority figures. And now we're in control of a resource that they actually have to have, right? Now, one of the things that we went over off camera was I'd like the guardians to invite some friends over, and preferably people that she knows that she's comfortable with first, to do this sort of thing. So I'm letting her chew on the treat, but I'm holding it in such a way where she's looking at me in the eyes while she's doing this. This is something that's why I'd like to have family friends doing this first, so it's people she's comfortable with, so she just gets used to this. So people look at me in the eye while I'm getting these treats. But this is kind of, if she's eye contact dominant, we want to break her of that and help her start to understand when a human gives you eye contact, that doesn't mean anything bad. Matter of fact, it means something good. Now we went through a focus exercise. I'd like the guardians to practice that focus exercise a couple of times a day with each guardian. And again, I usually have about 8 to 12 treats in my hand when I'm doing it. At first it's 1 second, 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. Focus. And after a while it'll be 1 second, 2 seconds. And eventually 1 second, 20 seconds. Remember, keep the treat in between her eyesight and my eyesight, so she's looking at, not eyesight, my face. She's got to look at my face the whole time. And once we get to the point, if we can get to that 20-second delay by the time we get to the end of the first week, you should be able to stay focused, and she stops what she's doing and looks up at you. And I would do it with both dogs, so both of them, it's good to redirect him if she's walking by him at times. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned in one of the videos, anything that the dogs are doing when we're in the room that we don't disagree with, we give 2 thumbs up to. So every time she tries to bully him, takes his space, or does things like that, and we don't interrupt, we're telling Gus that he's on his own. We're telling her that we agree with what she's doing. So it's really important that we kind of coordinate that and correct that as soon as possible, which is why I have a video above with her warning signals. Another signal, you see her mouth right now is open. Another signal I forgot to mention is that we'll close their mouth. And so that can be another signal by itself. So the counter conditioning, I suggest that we do this with the kids that are walking up. I went through that in pretty good detail. But we also do it with Gus and with her. So if she's looking at Gus, now she doesn't need it so much as he does, but if he sees that she's in the room chewing a bully stick and we're letting him chew on treats while he's looking at her, it's going to make him feel more comfortable. Now when we did bring him in the room, he wanted to leave until we orientated her where her butt was here and her head was closer to the camera and she was looking away from him, and then he was comfortable here. This is confrontational, this is approachable sideways, and behind you, you're defenseless. So if she puts her back to him, that's going to make him feel more comfortable. And we would like to have them spending time together as much as we can, preferably in a calm, balanced state of mind. So if we can get her used to looking that direction while we're holding a bully stick and letting her chew on it, or whatever the case may be, and he gets comfortable practicing being in the room, the more time he's with her in the room and nothing bad happens, the more comfortable he's going to get. Now, we didn't film it, but the door exercise is something I would have the guardians practice as well. If you can't remember the details, message me, and I can send you a link to a video I've done with other clients where I go through that in detail. Also, it's going to be really important. The guardians here actually had a lot of rules. Not a lot, but more rules than most of my clients do. You're looking very good over there, so I'm going to give you a bully stick. What do you think about that? Are you going to eat it here, or are you going to take it and run? If I hold this one, you'll eat it here. This is for your buddy. You're going to try to take them both. No, I'm going to chew this one. Down. 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 Petting with a purpose is going to be really important for her. So she can't come and just put her chin on her thigh and ask for attention that way or get attention for no reason. I want her to start earning it. 100% of the time. And so, even if you want to pet her, still ask her to sit. Remember, get in a habit of petting her under her chin, not on her chest. Say just the command word. Don't say good sit, just sit. After we've done this enough, she'll start to prepay for attention, like I mentioned. Also, we want to give her positive reinforcers for things that she does that we like. So if she sits down next to us, we're going to pet her and say sit. If she lays down next to us, we're going to pet her and say down. we're going to reward her for the things that we like, so that way she will start to emulate those things, because that's the way to get our attention, as opposed to jumping up or pushing Gus away or whatever the case may be. Some of the rules we talked about, the Guardians, like I said, have a lot of the rules that I suggest because they've been watching my videos. But we can add a little bit more to sitting at the door. We can add in not being allowed in the kitchen where we're preparing food, or if we're eating. If we're snacking, the dog needs to be 7 feet away. And just when they're eating, just like they were today, George should eat first with her out of the room. And then when he leaves, or Gus, sorry, I don't know, I've been saying George for like 3 days now. I have this pinched nerve. It's causing me some mental irregularities. But this way that Gus gets to eat first, that helps her see him in the leadership position. He goes out the door first. He goes down the hallway first. He goes down the stairs first. The more of these things that happen, little things, get him into a habit of feeling more comfortable with them. And don't be afraid to intercede. Use the escalating consequences. If she's doing something inappropriate, stand up, get in between her and him, and make her leave the area. Let me see. We want to encourage the outside interaction as much as we can, because outside I think he's going to feel most comfortable, and you guys, the Guardians, have already identified this because it's more space. In the hallway, there was a challenge before I got here. Sometime prior to me arriving for the session, that they got, but it's a very cramped quarter. So we want to be aware of that and try to avoid putting them in scenarios where they're together in such cramped conditions. Let me see, what else? We can also do little things like, if George is in the room with her and he's relaxed and she's chewing on a bully stick, pet him a little bit. Give him a little bit of attention when she's around. We can also use the counter conditioning for him. So pull out one of those treats, have him looking at her while she's chewing on the treat, so we create more of a positive association with her. One of the things I usually like to do is walk dogs together, which we're doing. The Guardians have been doing, but they've been letting them in front, and whoever's in front is the leader. So we want to walk them so all the dogs, the humans in front, or in the middle, and one dog's here, neither dog is in front. That way the dogs see each other, they get to spend time together, and they get more comfortable together. Now she's reactive during the 4th of July. If you go to my website, right, around fireworks? So if you go to my website, I have videos where I explain how to use counter conditioning to stop them from being worried about that. I'm trying to think what else. Is there anything else I forgot to go over?
I don't think so.
I think that's it, but if I forgot something, or if you get something else that you forgot to bring up in the session at all, make sure you let me know. The other thing was, like for kids, counter conditioning, but we talked about that. Again, counter conditioning the kids as they're walking by, first outside and the dog inside, then inside, both of us outside, and closer and closer and closer. But if you take that counter conditioning very slow, it's got to be so progressive the dog doesn't notice it and the humans don't notice it, and after a while, just, skateboards roll by, no big deal. All right, well, this is George, I'm just kidding, this is Gus, and Evvie's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.